All right, let's give it a try. My name is Brian Inuma. I am the president of IAMCP SoCal, and the reason I think is because I didn't step back quickly enough. Make a note of the code for Wi-Fi. It'll come in handy later, I'm sure. Hey, Ashok, you might have to help me. All right, everybody, welcome. Okay. Oh, sorry. Did you miss a code? No. Okay, make another code. So it's capital MS event June 3. All right, we have a lot to do, and we're going to try and stick to the schedule and get everybody out by about 2:00 p.m. Okay, so first thing that we're going to go through is the Americas updates. Good. Alrighty, we have a partner called Azamba. If any of you have bumped into Sandy Knight, Sandy Knight is with Azamba, and she's very active in IMCP. She is the current president of IMC Americas and has done quite a few things for the chapter and for the group. One of the things that they're doing is for the chapters a CRM in a can, and that's what their specialty is a CRM application based upon Microsoft technology. This is a slide that we got recently to talk about membership. So we have some copies of this. If you have other folks that might be interested, take a copy of the flyer and pass it out and see if they're potentially interested in being attendees first, just a guess, and then attendee at some point to become a member. IMCP's mantra is connect, learn, and grow. And basically the idea as with this meeting to develop opportunities to network. We have a lot of education that's Microsoft focused and some that might not be so Microsoft focused. So Feli, for example, was interested in some mindsets discussions. And then grow. So we could try and help as best we can for partners to grow the revenues. And sometimes that is often through strategic partnerships. Okay, very good. So there is a challenge afoot. And you might know that the chapter at one point under Eric Klaus's presidency had reached about 220 or so members. Today, Ashley and I began with 53. Okay, so the post-pandemic era, very strange. So lots of folks kind of went away, and we're hoping through efforts to improve value and so forth that we have some of those folks come back. Alrighty, so there are some pretty interesting things going on. Microsoft has given it some help, and we have some folks that are very focused on the technology and the partnerships. So these folks, they are doing some things that are, I'll call it content for right now. But in addition to some of the things that IAMCP SoCal does for content, IAMCP Americas is also doing quite a bit in terms of developing content. So we as members have access to all sorts of interesting things that Microsoft is doing. And IAMCP Americas is tied into that very tightly. Okay, so one of the things that I don't know much about is Beyond, but there are a number of conferences that are afoot. So one of them, for example, that we used to attend in July is called Inspire. Now got pushed out into November, but there are other disties, distributors of Microsoft technology that are also putting on conferences, and sometimes those are either inexpensive or free. So this is one for PAX 8. This one is interesting. I apologize for the poor quality of the slide. There is a partnering as a practice webinar series afoot that they refer to as a masterclass. So it is 10 webinars that began in March. It'll end in December. So a series of 10 webinars. So these webinars are kind of interesting in the sense that they are focused very much on partnering. One of the objectives that we identified for the chapter was to increase the value of membership, help clients develop or help partners develop strategic partnerships, and to help them grow revenue and profit. So this class was something that I was thinking of at the very beginning. And it was trying to do something for the chapter specifically, but IMCP Americas did it already. So if you are a member, or if you're not a member, that's okay too. You have a chance to register for these master classes, which are very much focused on partnering. The one that they did most recently was how to focus and partner well with Microsoft. Okay, so we kind of finished the March, April, and May. So the next one here is scheduled for June the 27th. So if you go to imcp.org, you'll find a June 27th event that you can register for. One more thing that I have been doing is I've been the curator of these. So at the end of each of these sessions, I've been collecting the transcript and the PowerPoint slides and so forth and creating a newsletter. So the newsletter has been going out about a week or two after these sessions are being held. Okay, so on July 22nd, there is a partner briefing. So one of the things that happened was they moved Inspire from July into November. So the hard part is that partners used to know ahead of their customers what was happening. So on July 22nd, there is a virtual event for partners to learn about the things that Microsoft is doing. And with the intent that in November, when they get wind of it, that the partners will already have a little bit of a head start. Okay, so we have some partnering awards. So we had I guess a vote about partners, and basically the idea is to try and identify partners who have done well in terms of partnering. So for example, one of the stories that Ashley and I did when she was working for Randstad was that we had a need for a consultant. And basically, she was able to provide that consultant through her Randstad work. So it was a good example. Some of these folks are part of our chapter. So, for example, you might know Aegis Innovators. Greenlight is also part of our chapter. So we have some folks that we represented well in this partnering. All right, very good. So how did I do? Very good. Okay, anybody have any questions about agenda? Very good. Okay, so now let me see. We're a little bit early, I think. Okay, so Sean Loftus, are you there?
I am, yeah. Hi, how's it going?
All right, very good. Okay, so I think we're a bit ahead of schedule, so I think we're good. So if you are ready, we can start.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks for inviting me. So let me
Maybe
share my screen.
before you go, let me just mention one thing.
Yeah.
All right. So this is something that we had kind of planned for in our last board meeting. All right, so our speaker for today is Sean Loftus. And what I had wanted to do was to just give a little bit of introduction. So I'll read from his bio. So as a modern work specialist at Microsoft, Sean Loftus helps organizations empower their employees to improve the employee experience with Microsoft software and services. He's been with Microsoft for more than 10 years and has helped organizations learn and implement Microsoft 365 solutions such as Exchange, Teams, Viva, and now Copilot and generative AI. He collaborates with a team of technical partner and consulting resources to inform customers, showcase and demonstrate the benefits of Microsoft's technology. Okay, Sean, all yours.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for inviting me. So, yep, I'm Sean Loftus. I'm a specialist within Microsoft in our modern work and Copilot organization. Go ahead. Was there some comment? Oh, I wasn't sure if somebody's saying something. I'm going to share my screen. Let me know when you are able to see that. Hopefully, looks good. Okay, I think I can see that on the screen as well. So what I'm going to talk about today is something I talk about probably 50 times a day, and what you've heard of in a lot of different capacities, Microsoft Copilot. Excuse me. There's a lot of branding around Copilot. I'm going to focus in on something called Copilot for M365, or Microsoft Copilot for Microsoft 365. I'll get into it and explain a little bit of it, but ultimately, anytime you hear Copilot branding, it's us and what we've created, a generative AI service that sits alongside and a generative conversational agent service that sits alongside different applications. So in this case, the focus and what a lot of people are interested in is Copilot for M365. Now, rewinding, and something that changed the world a couple of years ago, we're coming up on, is what happened around AI, and specifically around generative AI. So AI isn't anything new. Well, AI has been around for many years. Microsoft, we've been doing a lot of things around AI, right? So kind of if we take for granted things in our daily life, right? So if you've ever used Siri or Alexa or spam filtering or directions and GPS, any of those things are leveraging and incorporating some sort of artificial intelligence. The thing that changed dramatically, and why when we see on this screen, when we look at transformational technologies over the last, let's call it however many years, let's call it like the last 20 years, there have been a few significant ones, right? The mobile phone or smartphone, internet, social media, Facebook being one. Was there a question? Sorry, I wasn't sure if there was a question.
But I've tried it before.
Was there a question?
I
think we're good.
No.
Okay, perfect. Then Facebook, social media, which is probably one of the leaders if you think about what transformed social media. And then what was introduced from OpenAI was something called ChatGPT. What's so powerful about this slide is when we think about reaching 100 million users and the amount of time that it took these other transformational technologies, it took years. And that's something that ChatGPT actually accomplished in just 3 months. And so what that lends itself is people gravitated towards it. People saw the power. And what was that, right? Why did this significantly transform when people adopt technology? And we look at some of the huge transformational technologies over the last 20 years. Why was ChatGPT different? And what it was is when people were interacting with it, what they were recognizing is within the context of limitless, you could, in a conversational style, have basically limitless generation or outputs of what you want by just asking the technology, the AI, ChatGPT, what you want, right? That might be summarization. That might be asking for perspective. That might be asking for content creation, right? We've probably all, in some capacity, used ChatGPT. And that's really what, is transformed. And this is what, outside of really what I would always say safety, like safety systems and content filters, where ultimately there's some responsible principles where we don't want outputs of harmful or profane or abusive content. Within the realm of limitless, it's really that. And that's what was shocking to people, what the intelligence was that they were interacting with and how they were interacting. That's why we saw that huge spike of 100 million users within a handful of months. Now, the question always comes when we start talking about generative AI and specifically getting into Copilot, like, how does it work? What's happening? And at a super high level, what was the transformational piece of this is under the covers, there's these things called large language models. We've introduced, and there's these concepts of also now small language models. But if you think of large language models, so these are things like GPT-3.5, GPT-4, GPT-4 Turbo, GPT-4 Omni, which just got released from OpenAI or is in preview. These models have been trained on trillions of pieces of information. There was someone that actually did an evaluation to see, like, I think it was GPT-5, one of the first models that ChatGPT used. And if a human wanted to read the amount of text that GPT-3.5 had gone through, it would take you If you spent 8 hours every day, it would take you 170,000 years to read as much information as the one of the first models. It's like a massive amount of time, right? It's really incomprehensible about how much information it's reasoned over. And what that's done is these models, within reason, are an expert in multiple domains. So they understand finance, they understand technology, they understand sales and marketing, they understand project management, they understand law, so biology, healthcare. So kind of name your area because of the amount of information that's reasoned over. What this looks like in practice, and specifically when we start talking about organizations, is there's organizational data that's relevant, right? It's what makes all of our organizations unique. Like Microsoft has our own internal data that our employees have access to. You have, and each of your companies has your own organizational data that you securely and privately access. In practice, then, this is just an example, right? Thinking of simple generative AI. Let's build an agent leveraging organizational data, the model that powers this, and say something like, hey, AI, you are, excuse me, an intelligent assistant helping a company with their healthcare plan. So you're going to look at this specific information. So there's this curated set of documents that the AI is pointed at. And so what that allows is for a user to conversationally come up to it and ask a question, does my health plan cover annual exams? Something so simple. Before, we used to have to basically put in a lot of parameters to say, hey, these topics, this area, if then, a lot of statements in how we created AI. With generative and conversational AI, what we're doing is we're pointing the information at a model, and then the model processes that information, and then we get an output. Right? So as an example, you could have Copilot be that and say, I want to point it at specific information for benefits. And I could ask, does it cover my healthcare plan? And yes, based on the information provided, is the output. So it's this really transformational technology as far as interaction and conversational style with this massive model that understands so many things. What we've done specifically for Copilot for M365 is we've taken the apps, there's a sampling of them, right, that we are used to within Office, the productivity apps that we think of for Office 365. So Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams, Loop, OneNote, OneDrive, all of those apps and experiences. And we've built a Copilot experience that sits within each of those. So all of those experiences actually have a Copilot that sits there for me to have my own digital assistant to work through those things. Top use cases, this gets asked off. This isn't all encompassing by any stretch, but this is just some areas when we look at like, hey, out of the box, what's generative AI awesome at? Where does it just exceed, and where do people just gravitate towards realizing the benefit? So summarization, it's great. You have massive amounts of data, either structured or unstructured, and you want to ask questions around it, or maybe a massive document. Maybe you have a 50-page document and you want to go through it. So you can use AI to get the summary of important points, ask questions, and then keep yourself, the human, in the loop for whatever interaction and whatever other content you're going to create from it or understand. Conversational AI agents, where maybe we want to create bots where they could be self-service for B2C scenarios, or maybe internal help desk scenarios, like we have one for an HR scenario internal Microsoft. Writing assistants, which incorporates like content creation. So if you think about the value, if I can go to Copilot for M365, I can open up a Word document and I can tell Copilot to write a white paper or a product marketing launch and give it some context. And then all of a sudden in seconds, I'm getting an output of whatever I'm asking. That kickstart on content creation allows you to now focus your energies on making that a higher quality output, right? I'm going to get time back in all of these things. What am I going to do with that time back? And then the last couple things, knowledge mining, finding content. So thinking about enterprise search, and I'm going to show what that looks like in a second demo. And then one of the other ones, not part of necessarily Copilot, but just in general, when we talk about generative AI, we do have a co-pilot for that with GitHub and Power Platform, but is code development, right? So this ability to actually help write code, reason over code. So these are just areas, not all encompassing when we talk about generative AI and some of the value. All right, so this is an eye chart. This is not all encompassing, but it gives a good idea. What we've taken is different applications and services, and ultimately those map to different personas within your organization or organizations of customers or clients that you help, right? So if you think about, you have some of users within a group that are probably sales and marketing and maybe finance. You have some that are IT security. You have some that are developers. So what we've done is we've created a co-pilot experience to sit alongside all of those different software services. The one, which I'm going to go back to and show, which gets the most buzz because of how broad it is for all personas, like regardless if I'm finance, if I'm a developer, if I'm IT security, if I'm an executive, if I'm an HR, the one kind of common piece in the Microsoft stack is you're probably using Office in some capacity if you're using Microsoft, right? So that's where Copilot for M365 comes into play. And what we've done so far is this is the experiences that we actually have embedded Copilot. And this is where I'm going to transition in a second here to kind of show some of the experiences. So we continue to build experiences. So chat, which is where I'm going to focus a lot in, but these are in Teams for meetings, Outlook, Word, PowerPoint, Excel. I'll show that where we have a co-pilot that sits there for me to interact. So I'll pause just to see if there's any questions. Want to see if anybody has any comments, thoughts, want some clarity on anything. Happy to take a couple questions before I start showing a few things. Totally cool if not.
Yeah, we have one in the audience.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Sean.
Hi, Sean. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering, I've seen some things about the difference between Copilot Pro and Copilot 365.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate that?
Yeah, so we have a lot of co-pilots, right? So what we've tried to do, so if you think of, I'm going to step through a couple different things, and it's a good question. So a while back, what we first launched was the ability for, let me actually open this up, something called Bing Chat. So the first thing that we launched as far as incorporating some of these models was actually called Bing Chat. Now we've rebranded that, and what that looks like is any person on the planet can go to copilot.microsoft.com. This used to be something called Bing Chat. So what we did is we took conversational generative AI and we ground it with web content, so I can go and ask questions instead of doing a search, right? Like, what are the differences between CapEx and OpEx, right? Historically, I would get like search results. With Copilot and generative AI, I have the ability to still access web content, but I'm getting a conversational response. And so this was the first thing that we launched last February, so February of 2023. What we've done then is we said, okay, we have this, excuse me, we changed this, and the branding was Bing Chat, brought it in, it's now just called Copilot. So if you just go to Copilot and copilot.microsoft.com, this is kind of that base, like everybody has access to it. From there, what we want to do is, okay, let's bring a generative AI across Office apps for our consumer and for our home users, right? So if you have a home or personal account for Office, right? Like if you use like an Outlook.com address or some Microsoft, some MSA account, and you've bought a home subscription for Office 365 for that, right? So a consumer, an uplifted version of consumer, but if I just have that, right? A consumer version of home, that's something that we have, and you can license that yearly. I think like the list price is something like $100 a year. What we did is we brought Copilot Pro and said, hey, for people that use Office 365 in their personal life, let's go ahead and a Copilot experience that will sit within the Office apps that they're licensed for. So Copilot Pro is a generative AI experience that sits with PowerPoint, Outlook, Word, and it would pop up like this for personal and home use. That's what Copilot Pro is. And just like we have Home Office 365, we have O365 for enterprises, right? We have Office 365 for enterprises. So if you're an enterprise, you would go in and you would buy ME3, ME5, OE3, OE5 for an enterprise. And that's what Copilot for M365 is. So it's just basically providing a generative AI experience across all of our platforms, both enterprise and then also kind of on the home and personal use. Does that help?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Excellent question. All right. So I'm going to bring up, so there's, when I'm licensed for Copilot for M365, one of the most powerful tools I'm going to show in this experience is, yes, in all of my Office apps, I have a Copilot icon. So I can go into, all of my Office apps if I want to, and I can go in and I can open up a Copilot icon. So this is email. I have a pane where I can interact and ask in the canvas that I'm working, right? So I'm in email. I want to ask about email questions in my calendar. I'm in PowerPoint. I want to ask around PowerPoint questions. Maybe I'm in I'll just open up another one. Maybe I'm in a Word document and I want to work on in the context of Word where I maybe want to help drafting or I want to go through some kind of content. So each Office app actually has that Copilot experience, and it provides the in-app experience is us providing Copilot in the canvas of that app, right? So I'm in Word, I'm looking at like a legal NDA, I can ask questions around it. So think of all of the apps having their Copilot experience for me to reason over, ask questions, and create. One of the most powerful ones is going back to this slide, is in the context of, let me find my slide deck here. I don't know what happened there. Where did my deck go? I think it's probably over here. Oh, maybe it disappeared. Well, we'll find it if it, yeah, maybe it disappeared. It did disappear. Not a big deal. One of the most powerful ones is where in Teams, so there's two places where I would say we call this Copilot chat. We call this M365 chat. We've called it Biz Chat. The technical name is Microsoft Chat with Graph Grounded Data, I think is what it's a horribly long name, but it actually is intended. It explains exactly what it is. In the context, if you're using Teams, and I go to my left rail of Teams and I have, all my different icons, if you're licensed for Copilot for M365, you will have a Copilot icon. So you can see it there. You can also reach it by going to Copilot in the software bar here with the three dots. This takes me to, I'll call it M365 Chat or Copilot Chat. This experience within Teams gives me access to all of the information within the Microsoft ecosystem of Office 365 that I have access to. So Copilot inherits my rights from a governance and privacy perspective. So I can look at SharePoint sites and information there, OneDrive that I have access to, files that have been shared with me, chats, meetings, emails. So all of that information that kind of flows within the context of Office 365. This experience here allows me to interact with it and find information. So one of the fastest things of shifting, building new muscle, because this is a big shift for everybody at Microsoft, for our customers, the technology in general, as people start to use conversational and generative AI. I always recommend people shifting. One of the first workloads is for enterprise search, move to Copilot. And what I mean by that is, in the traditional sense of enterprise search, anybody with an Office 365 subscription can go to office.com, and what you'll see is you get a landing page of here's all my apps, right? So I get a waffle of all the apps that I have access to. I also get a view of quick access of all the files and things that I've worked on recently. But one of the other things I have is the ability for me to search enterprise content. So if I wanted to go in here and say like, hey, what is Teams frontline worker like in the traditional sense of searching for information? This is me going in and doing a search. And it's great. Like I can search the enterprise content within SharePoint and OneDrive and Teams and all the things that I have access to. But what I am missing in traditional search is I have to click on these individual documents to find truly the information I want. I don't want just what is Teams frontline worker. I want to find specific information around it. So I always recommend shifting search. So if you're doing enterprise search, move that over to Copilot, and I can ask that same question conversationally. So think of Copilot again. I'm typing into Copilot, what is Teams frontline worker? It's going to access that same content that just popped up in like the traditional enterprise search. But what it's going to do is it's going to take information it finds, and then it's going to process it with the model, and it's going to provide me with an actual conversational output. So this is exactly what I was thinking. So, and what we'll see here is we at Microsoft, and any company could do this, I can incorporate enterprise search, but I can also incorporate web content. And that's why we see like, hey, from your company, which is securely and privately looking at enterprise content, this is what Teams Frontline Worker is. From the web, from the public internet, this is what it is. So it's going out to sites securely, grabbing that information and providing me a response back. This is called prompt. So this is a prompt that I typed in. Pretty basic, not a lot of information. It's just, but if you're thinking about doing search, because typically, right, I'm asking to find some piece of information internally, but I want to go a step further, right? Like, what are the 10 key features of this? So I really wanted to find out what are the 10 key features of frontline workers. So think of me interacting with Copilot as that expert in all domains within access to things that I have access to. So I asked, what is Teams frontline worker? It gave me a response. And just like if I was talking to an agent or an assistant that knows everything that I have access to expertly, I would be like, hey, Copilot, what's Teams frontline worker? It gives me a response. Then I go back to what are the 10 key features of this? And the power going back, I could have asked for the 15 key features, the 5 key features, the 18. There are no guardrails in ultimately what I want, and I'm getting this output of information, right? So I see, hey, this is all the information. And by the way, it always gives me citations. So I get to see citations of where it pulled this information so I can go back and reference it. But I have the ability to interact with the data to see how I want. So I'm like, okay, this is great. Actually, can you put this into a grid below? Right, so I'm going to ask it to see it in a little bit different way. So can you put this into a grid below? So it's going to create some grid so that I can kind of look and see like, here's the feature, here's the description of what the feature is, going back to like the top 10 value reasons. So my ability to interact and see like, okay, that's what I wanted. Perfect. But I also, I'm preparing for a meeting. I don't want to bring a list of bullet points to an executive meeting that we're trying to describe. I'm going to be talking to a CIO. They kind of want to understand what frontline worker is. So can you please draft an exec summary? I'm actually going to go one step further, draft a 4-paragraph exec summary on the value. So I'm very specifically in this kind of chain of thought. What am I wanting to get out of this? And I'm able to ask questions, go back and forth, iterate, ideate, ask it for a different view. And this time it's like, yeah, I have like 2 minutes. I'm going to meet with a CIO. I want to provide and have just a handout, maybe a quick email. Maybe I have a couple slides that I wanted to create. So I asked for 4-paragraph. Could have been an elevator pitch, could be whatever I want, right? So think of this in the lens of whatever your role is, HR, IT, sales and marketing, finance. You have the ability to interact with the content how you want. So I'm going to pause and see if you guys have any questions on any of that. All right. So finding information. One of the other things that's of very valuable is this is me asking, this was me asking around a topic, right? So information that I have access to around Teams Frontline Worker. One of the other things that a lot of people use Copilot for is my interactions. So really trying to stay, excuse me, on top of things that I'm doing throughout the day. So if I want to use Copilot, so at the end of every day, this is a pretty lengthy prompt and I can actually schedule it, but I ask Copilot, so I have a prompt created that I just run every day towards the end of the day to say, hey, summarize everything that's happened from a perspective of what tasks from meetings did I get assigned? Was there anything specifically based on who I talk with throughout the day and my top collaborators internally? Are there any important things in email that I need to look at? And then I want to plan for tomorrow. So can you summarize my meetings, give me the heading, the organizer, and a few details, and if it's internal or external, right? So I can see all of this information. And then break it down because I am customer facing. So I want to make sure my time's being spent more externally, which, you know, on this particular next day was 50%. And then look one more time and get me prepared. Like, what are the top things that I should be considering while preparing for? And I had a CEO meeting that next day. So this is an example of me searching my own communication and collaboration around my chats, my meetings, my emails with my collaborators to get insights into my day. This happens to be a very successful prompt, but it literally could be anything. Hey, I've been out of the office. Let me know the last 7 days if my manager messaged me or emailed me and assigned any to-dos for me to do while I was out. Like, you can get caught up very, very quickly. And so there's just a ton of power in the ability to find information if it's role specific, but it's just communication and that I have throughout the day that everybody does. So again, I will pause and see if there's any questions.
Hey, Sean, this is Feli from Meta Solution. A lot of us have to do some PowerPoints, you know, we gotta do some speaking, whatever. Have you had that opportunity to use it yourself, and what are the benefits, and do you see it like a lot of value in?
Yeah, for sure. Good question. So a few things that I will do here. So because it's like this agent that I have, this really intelligent perspective or agent that sits there, I can do things like a good example of something. I'm going to go back to the Teams Frontline Worker. So I have this prompt that I was asking around Frontline Worker, right? Think of anything that's relevant for your day-to-day. So I could go in here and I could ask Copilot. So I've been getting a flow of some topic, right? Frontline Worker. And I can go in here and be like, I'm going to present to a room full of manufacturing, and I'm going to type probably execs. Please create a 45-minute storyboard on the Teams Frontline Worker and the value and transformation it can bring them. So I use this a lot. This is like for a presentation, but think about it for preparation. I think I actually even did it for this one just to get some ideas around the timing and breakout. So you can ask it like, hey, I've been asking about this information. I'm going to present. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, here, all of the information and what's relevant. Here's an excellent outline and breakdown of timing that you would want based on what's relevant, the content, and where you'd want to focus things. And you can continue to iterate that and say like, please add a key takeaway I want to land in each section, right? I'm probably mistyping that poorly, but think about first I'm building out the framework. So I get an idea of something like this. I could then, and I could take this and it's like, okay, I have I have an excellent, so it's redrafting and it's showing me a key takeaway that I should land for each section, right? So as I'm creating the content, something to keep in mind. So what I can do then is I could take something like this, and I'm going to jump to just kind of showing it quickly. I could take that information and I can open up a PowerPoint. And then I could say that I'm going to build out a new PowerPoint. And I'm not going to incorporate all of that, but let's just say that I go in here and I go into Copilot and I say, I can incorporate some of those in the prompt, but I'm just going to quickly just say, I want to create a presentation about Teams frontline worker and the value it provides. So I'm doing kind of this open-ended statement here and asking Copilot to create. I could direct it at specific documents. So if I had specific documents around frontline worker that maybe I've written, so maybe I have like this technical spec or a white paper, some back and forth that has some information around Teams frontline worker, I could actually direct Copilot to interact with that content and kind of focus the energies of it. And then this is pretty broad and open, and we'll see how long it takes. What it's actually going to do is it's looking at information that I have access to, and it's creating and saying, okay, Sean asked for a presentation on Teams frontline worker, and what are some of the things? And so this is breaking it down and creating, without any really additional context, right, this idea of frontline worker and things that it can do, right? So it created this entire deck with images along with speaker notes as well. And it's, I get asked this question a lot. Can you use this as a final product? You could. More than likely, anytime I'm doing content creation, I'm going to use Copilot to get this massive kickstart, right? So now I have not just an outline of a presentation, I can incorporate the things that I was asking it back here too, if I want to, right? Like kind of that flow. I could have put that into the prompt, but I get this kickstart of a very solid presentation. So from 0 to 60, 70, 75% of the way done. Now I can focus what would have taken me 3 hours to do this, and it takes me 30 seconds. Now I can focus those 3 hours on really making it a high quality output. I can change images, I can incorporate new images, I can do those types of things. So yeah, there's a ton of value when you're creating presentations from scratch or flipping them over from like a Word document.
Thanks, Coach Sean.
Yeah, you bet. So I know we're coming up on time. I know we were a little bit early, but I don't want to kind of overstep. There's an experience in all of these areas, right? So I would say, hopefully some of you have this. If not, try to get some trial licenses, start to interact with it. There's so much power. I am going to show one other thing, sorry, while I'm thinking about it. Meetings, as we're all in back-to-back meetings, one of the values that people gravitate towards right out of the box is the value that Copilot brings in the context of meetings. So every meeting that I'm invited to that gets recorded, either that I attend or that I don't attend, so I don't even have to attend, like this meeting I actually didn't even attend, is the ability to see what we call intelligent recap or recap and interact with it. So this is a meeting I didn't attend, it was recorded. I have the ability, rather than just playing back the recording, I can click on either here or here, this recap. What this does is this provides a packaged experience of the meeting. So I see the recording, I see an intelligent breakdown of all the speakers that spoke, along with, when they actually spoke. So if I want to jump to those areas, I get a breakdown of all the topics that were discussed if I want to jump to those areas. So if I jump to like planning and marketing, like, hey, we talked about planning and marketing. We talked about a launch delay here. We talked about this here. So I can get a breakdown of those. Most importantly, two other things that it provides, which are amazing. I packaged up meeting notes and tasks. So I get to see written notes from Copilot as far as capturing all of the meeting notes and tasks of any to-dos. But I wasn't in this meeting. I have the ability to open up Copilot, And conversationally, I can start to interact with this meeting, even though I didn't attend it. So I can ask questions like, Copilot, was anyone concerned during the meeting, right? I wasn't there. It's like, yeah, there's some concerns. Bruce was concerned about that. Kurt and Courtney were concerned around this. Chad was concerned about that. And I could go a level deeper and be like, okay, so what were the details on why Courtney was concerned on the product launch delay? And Copilot's going to look at the recording as this intelligent agent that has a photographic memory of all the things discussed and tell me about that. So the value of meetings in both this packaged experience, but then my ability to interact with this meeting artifact to get information out of it just by typing or asking is massively powerful. And this is like one of the top used, just out of the box things that people gravitate towards. So that's what I wanted to show. And then, and really the other thing, knowing the group, this is really important. This is a new thing for everybody, right? For all organizations, for all humans. From a partner perspective, we really, partners are such an important piece of our ecosystem, especially anything for M365, but specific to Copilot, because there's so much education and adoption resources that need to be required in order to have people understand where they can recognize value. Pretty simple to turn on from a licensing, but it's really that change management and adoption. And one of the other things that, you know, is depending on what your practice and specialty is in the world of Microsoft, customers, anytime we start talking about AI, which is important and top of mind, is around governance, right? I'm only accessing information that I have access to, but people, and this is of no fault of anybody's, like oversharing happens all the time, not purposefully, not like with malicious intent, but people accidentally overshare all the time. So the opportunity for our partners to engage around governance and privacy and doing workshops and helping customers to implement those strategies, that is pretty much every single interaction that we have with customers. So adoption, change management, along with governance practices is massively important. So
Thank you, Sean. We appreciate that. A round of applause.
Thank you, Sean.
Let's see a raise of hands. How many folks walked away with something that could make your diet easier, your meetings more seamless, maybe a little smarter than us by ourselves? Sean, that was incredible. Thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us. Anything last before we let Sean go? Yes, James.
I had a question. I'm presuming that has to be with a Teams meeting in order to capture the summary information.
it would
Sean.
be. Yes, correct. Yeah. So right now it's Teams meetings for that to flow in, so I'd be able to see it. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, in the back, Steve.
Yeah, is there a search log?
Super useful if you could do it for.
Yeah, good question. So all of the, because we're building this on top of our M365 services, so there's an audit log around all interactions. So if you think about just like in the compliance center for M365, where there's an audit log and it's available to look at the audit for the interaction. So from an IT perspective, I should say. So yes, but it's right under the compliance tools that customers are and users are used to using today.
Wonderful. Thank you. We appreciate it, Sean. We're going to jump into some of our Southern California updates, but everyone in the back, do you want to grab a seat? We've got some available now that Sean's done. This side here for seats. Get comfy. All right, I'm Ashley Dueñas, your Vice President here in Southern California. We're going to roll through these so we can get on to our next presentation. Wanted to make everyone aware of the WIT Network, Women in Tech. We have a partnership and really try to both support each other's organizations. We now have a discount code if you want to become a member of the WIT Network. Great chapter that we have here locally, and the next event is in July. If you want more information, please let me know. But on the national scale, there's a lot of content as well. So screenshot available for the QR code, and TWN 2024 is the discount code there. If you're interested in being a sponsor for an upcoming meeting, you'll see Ro Kolakowski coming up next. It's an opportunity to talk through not only solutioning, ways to partner, but get in front of this great audience to talk a little bit more about your individual products and services. We have a lot of benefits, and there's also a unique opportunity right now through sponsoring the IAMCP golf tournament in October that you can package a meeting along with that. Great value there. Thank you so much to the Partner Masters, our title sponsor of the celebration. It's our 15th year as a chapter here, not the golf tournament 15 years, but of the chapter. And we have a promotion going today, half off, individual or foursomes if you want to golf. So great deal. Thank you to TPM for offering that. In addition, our newest silver sponsor, Teams Plus. Thank you so much for joining the charge. Invest Partners, another corporate sponsor. All of that helping to support the Ronald McDonald House of Orange County and the Breezy Youth Center. So great opportunities to give back locally, and nothing better than a good discount. So half off. If you want more information, please let us know. In addition to registering for golf, this is a standing offer from the Partner Masters that is a part of your registration. Normally, it is a $100 value per month, so another great benefit and reason to sign up today. Here are the additional sponsorship levels open. Our gold is still available. We have our title and our silver sponsor. However, this one might be the most enticing, which includes a foursome and one of the meeting spots here in our monthly meetings. So more information for those that are interested. And I know I've talked to a couple of you about the tournament. We're gearing up. It's closer than I can even imagine at this point. It's been a lot of planning, and now it's almost around the corner. Coming up in July, how many have been to the SMB Tech Fest before?
Yes.
All right, a good percentage. For those that haven't, it's a great opportunity. It's free, complimentary invite for IAMCP members and guests. Next one, July 18th and 19th in Irvine. Lots of speakers, presenters, vendor booths, and expos. So would love to see you there and kind of meet the rest of the members and have opportunity to provide not only insights into what's going on within the channel and markets, but to get to know everyone a little bit better. So August 1st, that's the next time we're back here at the Microsoft MTC. We have a jam-packed schedule. We're really excited. We'll have a Microsoft presenter. We have Justin Slagle and Matt Sosman with the Partner Masters as our sponsor. And who was here last year when we did a tour of the experiences out here in Microsoft? So we're doing that again. We brought that back. Kevin Orbaker, the architect here, is going to walk us through those different experiences. So hope to see you all back. And if we have this many, we might have to reserve that next room and open up the wall. Sounds like a plan. All right, I think that we're moving into then our sponsor topic. I have the wonderful opportunity of introducing our sponsor, which is Ro Kolakowski, the founder of 6th Street Consulting. This is a management consulting firm focused on providing strategy and technology consulting services. He has more than 40 years of finance and technology experience, and he was a senior equity analyst covering telecom companies in Latin America, including Telemex and Telauras, while at D.A. Campbell Company. In addition, he provided investment banking services to mid-market companies while at Ernst & Young Corporate Finance. Ro has also served on the executive team, overseeing the assets of the Greenspun family in Las Vegas. In 2002, Ro founded 6th Street Consulting, which today is one of the Microsoft's top partners in the country, offering SharePoint, Teams, and Office 365 services. 6th Street Consulting, SharePoint, Teams, and Power Automate services enables partners to drive new revenue opportunities with their existing customers. Ro holds a BA in economics from the University of California at Los Angeles and is also a chartered financial analyst. He was the second president of IAMCP SoCal, and I am so pleased to introduce him to do his topic today. Thank you, Ro.
Now, when they asked for a bio, I just copied and pasted from LinkedIn. I had no idea it was going to be read word for word. So I would have written something a lot shorter. So anyways, thank you for that. So when I saw the agenda, It looks like I've got about 30 minutes. So that's the good news because SharePoint is very complicated and there's a lot of materials to cover. The bad news is I thought the presentation slot was a lot shorter, so I only have about 10 minutes of material. So we're going to have to fill in some time. So I'm just kidding. But a couple of things. Well, while I'm doing that, I might get my phone and thank Sean for the presentation from Microsoft and Copilot, because I think I set up my presentation all wrong and I spent too much time on it, because I think now I'm going to type in here real quick and say, hey, I need to create a SharePoint presentation for a group of IAMCP Microsoft partners, some members who are attentive, some members who are not attentive. So, anyways, let's start with the fun fact. Does everyone know what a table saw is?
Yes.
Okay, so I am a father of 2 daughters. I have a wife and I have a dog that doesn't like me. But I get tasked with various things throughout the weekend. And one of them was to cut a piece of wood to make a shelf or something like that. I said, no big deal. Just bust out the table saw, cut a piece of wood. So a table saw, you turn it on and you make some noise. And the blade spins at 4,000, between 3,500 to 4,000 RPM. And what many of you guys probably know conceptually, but maybe in practice, you got to see it, but the blade spins so fast, it's kind of invisible. You can't really see the blade. So when you're cutting, you can see where the blade is cutting the wood, but you can't see the length of the blade. So I do a lot of woodworking. I cut thousands of pieces of wood, but it only takes one mistake. And I made that mistake this weekend, and I reached for something, and I guess I was off by just maybe a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. And here's just thunk, and some stuff sprayed all over me. And I grabbed my thumb, and I went in and I told my wife, hey, this is going to be fun. I need us to go to the first aid medical kit. So if you guys are interested in seeing what a 4,000 RPM saw blade does to your thumb, this is, you can come in. I will show you the pictures afterwards. So some fun stuff there. All right. So why am I here today? Basically, we want to become a part of your team. We offer highly specialized services around SharePoint and Teams and automation. And we're going to show you basically how to utilize our capabilities to deepen your relationships with your customers. Because when your customers have these certain needs, and we're going to show you a couple of them, we want you to be able to say, oh, I've got someone that's basically a part of our team that can help you and assist. Okay, so today we're going to focus on SharePoint solutions, SharePoint and Teams, and some process automation. Now, the question is a lot of times people say, hey, we need to automate this, we need to automate that, but what do they really mean by that? And should everything be automated? And by the way, pressing this button with this thumb, it's interesting. Okay, so process automation. So, oops, I think I switched presentation. Okay, anyways, I'll start talking. The process automation, not everything should be automated. So there's a simple framework that we go through, and you guys can use it for your own business about what should be automated. So we're ready? All right. So the thing is, whatever process it is, first off, something that happens all the time, that's a good candidate for automation, something that's a high amount of frequency. The second thing is you want to multiply that by the level of effort associated with whatever that process is. If it's a simple process, you do it a lot of times, but let's say, for example, it's a process that's a little more complicated, requires 10 hours of labor every time you have to do that. So you should multiply those two of those together. And the most important thing is basically what's the cost of an error in this process? So you could have a very infrequent process that is very low level of effort. And you think, why would we automate that? But the cost of an error, if you don't get it correct, could be lots of, fines, production delays and stuff. We've got a couple of customers with that. And the vice versa can be true. The cost of an error could be really low, but man, you're doing this 1,000 times a month. And every time you do it, it's a lot of labor to do it. So you should take a look at these 3 factors. And if any one of these is close to 0, then it's probably not a candidate to automate. So I'll give you a case study. I'm not going to go through all 3. Or maybe I can because I have more time than I thought. But we'll just pick the center one. And basically, we just call this after event. So we had a marketing firm that wanted to automate one of their processes. And the reason I'm showing you some of these examples is because I want you to listen to similar stories from your customers. Whereas before you might have said, hey, this is not our thing. We do this or we do that. We do phones. But now you can call someone and have them help you. So in this particular case, a health facility had a bunch of different facilities, and they were doing shared services in terms of their marketing was done by corporate. And so the way they were handling the marketing requests for brochures, coupons, deals, advertising on social media sites and stuff is they would do it through email. So each of these, I think there were like 16 of them. Each of these was making anywhere, they were making close to 100 requests per month. And if you can imagine now, they've got hundreds of requests and they're all being tracked through email and they were losing track of what was going on. So what's the frequency? Very high. What's the level of effort? Actually very high because they're kind of managing this all together. And what was the cost of a mistake? A lot of these events, they were happening, the event would be over and then the marketing material would arrive. Have you guys been on sites before or have you been on the internet, Instagram or whatever, and you come across something that you find very interesting, like, hey, come join us for this upcoming thing, blah, 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 blah. And you go click on it and the event was like from last week. And so anyways, that's what was happening in this company. So we basically automated that process for them. And when we take those three factors, we basically put an economic value against those three factors. In this particular company, the economic value was about, they were thinking it was costing them between $200,000 to $300,000 a year. So for us, you know, it's easy. When we take a look at that, we say, well, we can basically, if we can come up with an automated solution that's 1/10 of that, then that's something that we can put in place. And that makes economic sense to kind of take the risk and the good ROI to be able to do that. So that's exactly what we did for them. And it's very successful and it's still in use today. So that's kind of something you can do for automation. Okay, so what's the process when we automate something? So first off, a lot of people think automation is simple, or they think, you know, they're trying to describe a workflow that, oh, we just want a simple approval process. It might start that way, but when you get through all the details, there's a lot of different decision points and stuff. And so we will document the entire process, get all the requirements from people. And then what ends up actually happening is people say like, oh, well, I want 4 approvers or I want 5 approvers. And what happens if this person's on vacation and so on, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, you write all that stuff out. We get it all mapped out. And then we actually create the process and we test it. And that's kind of how that works. So that's automation in a nutshell. I got a whole bunch of other examples on that. But the idea here is not to bore you with all the details of that. It's just that we have that capability to automate very simple processes to very complex processes. Okay, second thing, SharePoint Teams solution. So which one of your customers here uses Office 365? Almost everybody, right? So what we find is most people are not using SharePoint to the extent of which they could because they think it's overly complicated, or maybe they're just using the very basic features, but a lot of it, we feel that it's a little bit intimidating sometimes when you take a look at it. And if you use just the out-of-the-box web parts, it might seem like, you know, it's not kind of getting me to where I want. So they go off and they go buy a third-party piece of software. And that's actually number one no-no for us because it's like you have all these capabilities. So what we did was we basically took a lot of our common asks throughout our customers, and we basically said, hey, what are simple things that we could put in place for people that are beyond just the basics, but they're also not intimidating, and it's also allows them to see instantaneous return on, you know, them spending some effort on SharePoint. So we came up with a customization catalog, and it's a series of things that we do for customers repeatably that ends up being very low effort. So here's one, custom org chart. So there's an org chart inside of Office 365 and SharePoint, but we do custom org charts. They go up and down, sideways. You can have assistants. You can do all kinds of really fun stuff. But the number one thing here is to take a look at is the thing at the bottom is the time to implement that is only about 4 to 8 hours of consulting to do that. Now you can make it as complex as you want, but it's not a 100, 200, 300, 400 hour thing. It's actually very simple to do that. So another thing that's been very popular is we actually sell these things like hotcakes. It's a SharePoint news ticker, and they basically have them throughout the different organization, 2 to 4 hours to implement. So think about some of your customers right now. They're all probably using SharePoint poorly, or they're not using it at all. And if you ask them like, hey, what are some features? The idea is to flip through the catalog and say like, oh yeah, we could use a news ticker. Like, oh, that's not intimidating. That's a couple of hours and so on. Okay, anonymous form submittal. This is one of my favorites. And this is basically inside of organizations, as you can imagine, you want to get good input from your employees, but a lot of things are highly traceable, right? So what we like to do is basically put in a system that's just an anonymous form submittal where basically through a QR code, you can make a submission and it goes into a SharePoint list, but only for like it, you know, very short period of time. And then basically that gets anonymized and put into another list that then gets managed by manager. So a couple of places we've implemented this. This could be a warehouse floor, for example. Hey, are you noticing something that's unsafe? You just take your phone, you scan it. Yeah, basically the forklift was left running, so on. And it goes into kind of a central management dashboard. And then you can decide later, hey, if you want that management dashboard displayed. So it's all very simple. 4 to 8 hours to basically implement that. Very simple. Okay, employee recognition. This is another thing. Hey, you want to call out a special employee? That's very simple. 2 to 4 hours. The whole point of showing you guys all this is like, these aren't very big systems. You guys, SharePoint is a really great platform to build a lot of stuff. People just don't do it. And what we like to do is have your customers start doing it. Okay, user data cards, another thing. You can make very simple lists, make it a little bit more graphically pleasing. Okay, and into more complicated things now. So SharePoint is basically what we call it is kind of your single pane of glass that's got plumbing to everything that you need in your organization in terms of it's tied in with your Active Directory, and it can be integrated with all these different systems. And I have right here proprietary on-premise applications or software as a service providers. It's basically unlimited. Anyone that's basically provides like a web interface or web services interface we can integrate with. We do it through Azure. It shows up on SharePoint, and basically through a single pane of glass through your normal day-to-day internet usage, you can surface up any sort of data. I should have drawn the arrows in both directions because it can be bi-directional. You can make changes in SharePoint, push it out to different systems. Okay, so that's something we do, but that's really on the more complicated side, but it's pretty simple. So migration, we also do a ton of migration into a lot of different, into SharePoint Online through a lot of different systems, and so that's kind of cool, basic. Okay, now the question is, what happens if you have a lead? These are all real copy and paste emails that have been sent to me in terms of things that actually turned into real deals. So as you can tell, as you're reading through a couple of these things, sometimes as you may not even understand what people are asking for. It doesn't matter. You can send it to us. It can even be grammatically incorrect. We don't care. Like, we'll call back and we'll go figure it out. But every single one of these initial emails ended up in a deal. Some of these deals were for 40 to maybe 80 hours. And a couple of these on this page is well into the hundreds of hours in terms of projects. So that's basically what we would like you to do with your customers. If you come across a SharePoint need, or you come across something that you think might match this, don't ignore it. Let's become a partner. Let's figure out how to work together. And so there are a couple of different ways we do it. We do it through a referral partner, or we can be a subcontractor too. The referral partner is great. It's kind of a fire and forget. And the way you think about that is, let's say you're doing a marketing campaign, you're blasting out email or whatever your program is to a whole bunch of people, and you are maybe a BI specialist, or you are a specialist in something else, or Dynamics. And someone responds to your ad and they say, hey, what about SharePoint? And you're like, oh, well, I don't know that much about SharePoint. You forward that to us, and we're a referral partner. We'll pay you a referral fee for that. So we call that the fire and forget. Subcontractor becomes a little bit more interesting is, for example, it is one of your customers or one of your key customers. And now you don't want to lose contact with that customer, and they've got a specific need that you can't handle around the SharePoint space. That's when it works great for us to be a SharePoint subcontractor. So we work with projects, but more importantly, what we like to do now is for the MSPs, we actually become embedded into their managed service agreement accounts. So we've had a couple of instances where MSPs have called us and said, hey, our customer, as you know, kind of with the electric company and the utilities company, like, nobody appreciates you until the stuff stops working. So if you're a great MSP and everything's working fine, customers are going like, why am I paying this money? And so they start opening up conversations with the MSPs and they say, hey, you guys are doing all the work, but they're going, we don't see any value, blah, blah, blah. Everything seems to be running fine. And, we'd wish we could get maybe like a little more automation. Well, that's not in our contract. We don't do that. So, but what we do is we basically work with the MSP and we become a part of their managed services agreement contract. And then we've actually saved a couple of MSPs from losing out on some of their big customers, because all of a sudden they're able now to add a little bit of extra automation, SharePoint, and some customization stuff. So that's something fun we do there. So if you guys are interested, what I'd like you to do is just reach out to me and contact me. If you guys have your phone, you can click on the barcode here. It's actually kind of fun if you click on the barcode, because it doesn't go to a specific website or something. But if you're interested, you click on the barcode and it'll just create an email, and that'll be sent to me. And what I will do is I will set up a time to talk about whatever your opportunity is, give you a little bit more details about how do we partner. And more importantly, if you are ever in the South Bay area, it's always my treat if you come and visit me for lunch, and if I don't have to get into a car. So we'll go have a lunch somewhere on the beach, and it'll be pretty nice. So that's my presentation. Will Kolakowski, founder of 6 Year Consulting. Thank you very much.
Nicely done, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for supporting the chapter. All right, we're going to try something kind of interesting. So bear with me that this might go off the rails. What we try to do is to identify our guests. So for the guests who have red badges, we would like you to listen to our sales pitch for IAMCP SoCal. So what we're going to do is assemble a crack team. So Eric Klaus, if you raise your hand for a moment, Mario Duenas as well, and then Steve Tanner, raise your hand. Right. So those three gentlemen are going to be our crack team. So if you have a red badge, I would like you to find your way to speak with them. And what I had planned to do was to have anybody with a red badge do their introductions first, but it's like I see a sea of red badges, so this might not work so well. All right, so we'll follow our normal process, but I will ask you at an appropriate time to congregate where Eric, Mario, and Steve are, and to learn about what we do at IMCP. I'm hoping that this meeting is a good example of what you might experience. And Sean Loftus, I think, did an excellent job, and our veteran, second president, Will Kolakowski as well. Alrighty, so I'm going to do this. We'll just follow our normal pattern, and basically I'll pass the mic around for everyone to do a 20-second introduction and try and be brief, because we are going to be a little bit short on time. A favor, can you find the slide for me that for the 20-second introductions? Oh, okay, very good. Yes, we could. Absolutely. Okay, very good. Okay, so 20-second introduction, your name, company, area of focus. It was originally New Year's resolution, but I changed it to vacation plan, but again, kind of brief, keep it short if you can. If you're a guest, so mention, and maybe mention who invited you. And then if you're remote, go ahead and paste your chat into LinkedIn chat. If you're not, by all means, just make connections here. Pass us your LinkedIn information, automated. Okay, now. Also, while these are going on, I'm going to pass out some playing cards, and I will explain afterwards what the playing cards are for. If I explain now, pandemonium will break loose, and we'll lose the opportunity. So let me start over here. Oh, sorry. Remote. Anybody who's remote? Maybe Fred, you wouldn't mind? Can you moderate people who are online?
Sure. Are we going first?
Okay, go ahead first.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go down the list of people I see. Looks like there's someone by the name of David, unverified after the name. And by the way, if you're online, please unmute and put on your camera if you have one. David? Okay, we'll come back to you. Is it J or Hi? J-A-I Gaines?
It's inception.
Okay, we're 0 for 2. Mark, oh, am I frozen over there?
In one place, not the
We
other.
can hear you.
I'm not very good at my pop, lock, and drop dance, so like, okay. Mark Okura, are you here to give your 20 second?
20 minutes? Sure, I could do 20 minutes. Hey guys, Mark Okura.
Do you have a camera by chance?
I do not. Sorry
Okay.
about
All right.
that. I posted my little info in the chat. However, Mark Okura, Forte Data Solutions. Just real quick, since I have 20 seconds, which I used up already. Forte does everything Microsoft, from Azure down to the desktops and everything in between. I know that a lot of you guys have specialties, and what I like to tell people is we fill gaps, skill gaps, and or if you're shortage on resources, we can fill those gaps as well. We have an expertise around SQL and Oracle, but that's pretty much it. We're based headquarters in Boston, and we think we have a pricing advantage because most of our engineers are Canadian, which are direct employees, and it makes that customers feel a little bit more comfortable than being 100% offshore. And Brian was nice enough to invite me.
Thank you, Mark. Maverick here. Who you are? It's all the way over in Texas.
Hey, did that come on?
There he is.
Thank you. Get a lot of feedback. Sorry.
It's like you're in a window. Bats come under the bridge at you.
Sure was. The headphones. I apologize, guys.
That's good. Go ahead.
Real quick, Maverick Matthews. I am a director of program management and operations. I specialize in people management. I love working with teams to improve efficiency, identify gaps, and that's probably my 20 seconds. But most recently was with NCC Group. I'm currently looking, actually. So if anyone has any openings, any ideas, please reach. My LinkedIn information is in chat. I am in Austin, Texas, and vacation plans. I'm hoping to get to New Orleans next month. Fortunately, it's just a quick drive over. So
Thanks, Maverick. Thanks for joining, Maverick. It looks, is it J-A-I? No, sorry, I'm slaughtering your name. I think you're my back.
It's Jay.
Jay, see you, but I'm not sure I'm hearing you. I'm hearing a lot of feedback.
Yeah, there's no feedback, but I'll work with it. My name is Jay Gaines. My company's Endeavor Applications. I'm a community services provider here in the Los Angeles area, looking to do 5 to 10 seats, not very much more than that. I already have one 20-seat customer and a 5-seat customer that are fairly manageable. I don't want to get in too deep, do a bunch of mostly which is a little bit more fun sometimes it's a headache because some people are just
I think you're on. Jay, I think you're on mute, but maybe that was it now, because I could.
somebody was I muted?
You were, but you were way over your 20 seconds anyway. Or anything last minute thing you want to say? You were talking, and then all of a sudden you got muted maybe 20 seconds ago.
Oh, well then if they caught the first 20 seconds, I'm glad. I'll go on to the next person.
Make sure all your info's, everybody online, please put your information and LinkedIn link in the chat. Roman, are you here? I'm not sure. It's not. You might have, or Tushar, and maybe these other people are local there. Well, I'm Fred Cooper. My day job is Effortless Office. We're an MSP. We work with businesses with 50 to 500 users is our everyday wheelhouse size. You can be either outsourced IT with help desk. We are a Microsoft partner, but we don't get into the weeds with it. So that's why I'm here to try to bring you guys into some of those opportunities that we don't do so well. I'm also a director here for SoCal and to help other chambers, chapters, and a plug for the San Diego chapter. They are having a pool party the 21st June down in San Diego in Poway. Members house, a really nice pool area, backyard. Everybody go and is invited. If you didn't see the post, hit me up and I can send it. Anyone else online? Okay. I will skip my vacation. Okay, I'm going on a 10-day vacation to Italy and Greece next month. That's my vacation. Very lucky.
Okay.
All right, back to you, Brian.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna start in this corner, then we're gonna wind our way back and forth to catch everybody. We have a bunch of folks here, so as brief as you can, please. Holly, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Holly Mack with G4 Solutions. I'm a fractional chief marketing officer for MSPs, software and technology companies.
Hi, I'm Eric Kong with Consilion, one of the founders, and there's a lot of faces here that I haven't seen in a long time. Returning IAMCP member who has been missing for about 4 years. Thanks, Eric, for reminding me to show up.
Glad to have you here. Everybody, I'm Eric Klaus. I am with Neoteric 365. We are a Microsoft Copilot and BizApps partner. We focus on the Dynamics solutions. I'm also co-author of 4 books with Brian Enuma. One of those, our most recent one, was on AI in ERP and CRM solutions. And I am the past president of IAMCP SoCal.
Ro Kolakowski, apprentice carpenter with 9.5 fingers.
I'm Ice Adams, the new appointed treasurer for our chapter, and I'm the founder and CEO of One Book. We foster financial charities.
Hi, everyone. My name is Karen. I'm with Sigma Info Solutions and Lend Foundry. We are not a partner. I met Brian and Eric through SMB at the conference a couple weeks ago. So it's a pleasure to meet you all. We do software development, and we also have a lending software.
Hi all, Hemant Namdar. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer for Sigma and Lend Foundry, and she's covered what we do, but I just came back from vacation a few weeks back from Hawaii, so not planning another one.
Hi, Ashley. You're VP here in SoCal, and I'm a Director of Business Development for MW Partners. We are a national IT staffing and project solutions company. Would love to help any partners with their solution designation interests with Microsoft, as well as those hard-to-find IT resources. And I'll pass it on to Mario.
Hey, everyone. Mario Duenas with the Partner Masters. We are an advisory consulting firm, really helping partners kind of find the easy button for working with Microsoft and just making your practice more profitable. And I'm also your membership chair. So if you're wearing a red badge, I know who you are.
Find you.
Hi there. I'm Krista Hollingsworth, the president of K. Hollingsworth Consulting. I am a fractional chief revenue officer helping service-based businesses grow their top-line revenue. If you have a client that you are trying to get them to go to the next level with your services and they're giving you pushback because of the cost, call me. I'd be happy to talk to you about how to move that forward. Krista, K. Hollingsworth Consulting.
Next up. Brett Culver, C4. We help companies grow, tech companies grow, and then work towards a sale. Do acquisitions. We do a lot of VCFO, CMO. If you need more leads, you're looking for more SQLs, we focus on that. And a fun vacation going to the Virgin Islands later this month.
Hi, everybody. My name is Claudia Shah. I work with the Small Business Development Center, the SBDC in Los Angeles. So my area is LA County for Spanish speakers. What we do is pre-advising, pre-consulting. Thank you, Feli, for the invitation today. And it's happy to be here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ana Castellanos. I'm the president of Latinos Media Group. We are the advertising agency focused on the Hispanic market. We have a lot of experience on the organization and planning for events, corporate events.
Good afternoon. If you caught Sean talking about the challenge of adoption and change management for Copilot, that's me. We are SEER, Strategic Solutions, user enablement for modern work, business apps, and Copilot. My vacation was back in April. That's why I wasn't here, guys. So sorry. It was camping down in San Diego.
Hey guys, my name is Patty McBride, and I'm currently not with a company. My background ranges from Hewlett Packard, Forrester, and in the last several years, I was with a company called Vision 33, which is in the SAP B1 world. So anyway, I'm looking for a position, and I thank Fred. Fred, thank you for hooking me up with this group. And then, do I hand it to you?
Hey, everybody. My name is Feli Michaka with Managed Solution. I'm a senior field engineer and brand ambassador. Don't ask me how I do it. I do two roles, but I'm having a lot of fun. Okay. So, managed service provider, we transform your environments. We have a couple of testimonies, but I don't have time for that today, but definitely come to me if you need some IT shop to transform your environment.
Good afternoon. I'm Nora Betancourt. I'm with MindStreet. MindStreet is a clinically validated computerized program for mental health. Thank you. Oh, and I'm a guest of Philly.
Hi, my name is James Watson, and I'm a fractional VP of sales with Sales Catapult, which is part of the Sales Acceleration Network, and small to mid-sized businesses that work with me scale their sales and profits.
Hi, my name is Ashok Pai. My name starts with A, ends with I. So I was born to do AI. My entire name is within AI. So I'm an AI consultant. And I retired 2 years ago as a vice president of cybersecurity for a Union Bank, which in the process of merged with US Bank now. So I've done cybersecurity. I worked for Microsoft at one time. And in fact, I've even worked with Bill Gates closely because I joined Microsoft in 2007 when SharePoint 2000 was just out. And that was Bill Gates' favorite product because it reached $1 billion in sales in a year. So I worked very closely with Bill Gates, and I remember him saying that SharePoint is the operating system for an organization, just like Windows is the operating system for a computer. So that's a great memory I have. So thank you. Thank you.
Hi, this is Manuel Ramos, part of the Ramos Capital Group. I'm a portfolio manager. We invest money in the stock market. And by the way, we become public very soon. So we're going to be investing more money in AI and technology. I specialize in high income yields. And I'm here because Feli is part of my team in TV, radio, and everywhere we do in the United States and Latin America. So thank you, Feli. Very proud of you always. And thank you for inviting me and being here.
Thanks for coming.
Hello, my name is Juan Carlos Gonzalez, and I'm a national correspondent for Univision Network.
Univision, yeah.
And also guest of Feli. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tom Rust. I'm with Crayon Software Experts. So I'm a partner manager with them. So I help with partners utilizing LSP type services or our software asset management services because we're in the top right quadrant for SAM in the market. So we help fill in the gaps for a lot of our partners that don't have those capabilities and need to get into the bigger markets that are there.
Hi, I'm Norma Muro Jalul, and I am a co-founder of Stratuson. It's a small startup based out of Irvine. We help Microsoft partners with getting to the marketplace quickly and efficiently. If you are on the marketplace, we help you maintain your solutions. If you're not on the marketplace, we help you get there quickly with our no-code apps.
Hello, my name is Samantha Bloom. I
too, looking for an opportunity. I used to do managing production support, application support teams within an HCM environment. So Ashley invited me today. So it's very nice to meet you all. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Julia Walker, and I'm an independent consultant working in the Dynamics world. And I was invited by my neighbor here, Samantha. And though I have had a standing invitation, I think, from Brian and Eric, we finally get to meet after, I think, 6 years, 7 years. So thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eileen Dewar, and I'm with Engage PEO. And what we do is the full outsourced HR for small businesses, so all of the different areas. And one of the great things I can do is provide Fortune 500 company employee benefits at very small business prices. So if you have any questions about HR, see me, Eileen, with Engage.
Hi, I'm Thomas Wong, and I'm with vCloud Fusion, and we help with customers in Azure, also GCP or AWS. We help them with security, networking, and also being able to actually make it optimize the experience. And going to Vancouver, although I just came back from Hawaii.
Afternoon, guys. My name is Alan Crooks with Incent Advisors. So we help business owners take advantage of government credits, incentives, and tax strategies. So if you're a business owner and you're paying too much in taxes, we can probably help you out. I work with the CPA, a tax attorney who will help you reduce those by 20 to 40% on average. So thanks for being here.
Thanks, Alan. Hi, everyone. My name is Manish Bansal with Fifth Square. We like to call ourselves as data ninjas. So think of anything data, AI, Power BI, the acronyms, data warehouse, data lake, also financial reporting, budgeting, and planning. So anyone needs help. All of our clients probably need help in all these areas. So feel free to hit me up. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Steve Tanner with IT Voice, the most recent former president of IAMCP. So thank you, Brian, for taking it on, and nice job, everybody. And wonderful to see so many guests. So between the three people that are at least been pointed out, chat with anybody with a blue button. If you can't get to us, we'd love to tell you a little bit more. So IT Voice helps your ERP systems, including Dynamics, be hosted in a private cloud environment or manage it in Azure. So if that's something that you're running across with your clients or they're outgrowing what their current environment is, be happy to help you. However, I have another pitch for an IAMCP activity. The golf tournament has been talked about. However, for those of you that have not swung a club in a few months, years, or whatever it is, and you like to kind of get back into it, Fred and I and a couple of others are setting up meetups each month over the next few months to at least get a few people in the same place. I'll pay for the bucket of balls. All you have to do is show up with your favorite club, and we'll have some fun together. So keep an eye out for that, or ask us if you'd like to know more. So here we go. Thanks.
Thanks. My name's Tim Martin. Some of you that know the company known as Action Point, but has now been taken over by a company called Viatel. It's still hard for me to remember that sometimes. Technically, we're a software company, but what we really do is we automate complicated business processes, and we sell almost exclusively through partnerships with MSPs.
Taylor, did not expect to be talking. I'm actually a student at Cal State Fullerton, so it's nice to be among all of you. Was not expecting that either. Thank you. Currently, I'm studying a dual major, so double major in both computer science and business with a concentration in business analytics. So I'm now finished my 5th year. I'm now finishing my 6th year so that I could graduate in spring 25. That is the goal. I get to walk twice, which is even better. But I want to thank Feli for letting me come and be among all of you. I look up to all of you, by the way.
Hi, Michelle Hollis, RBT Group, stands for Reality versus Theory. I've been in this industry for a long, long time. I'm doing fractional C-level consulting now, predominantly in the cybersecurity area, go-to-market, revenue, sales, comp plans. How many companies out there don't have appropriate comp plans to incent their salespeople the right way? Just across the board. And I'd like to do a shout out for the 80-year D-Day anniversary today. I'm wearing pins that my grandmother volunteered during World War II as a nurse in honor of our veterans.
Hi, my name is Tom Spooner. I'm with a company called Enterprise Telecom Partners, and we're a technology agency. We do a lot of work with multi-location companies, identifying and sourcing the carrier services for each location and helping them manage implementation and just managing a variety of different technology providers for companies so they don't have to talk to a million different salespeople, from every company. And we kind of aggregate all that together. Oh, and I'm sorely in need of a vacation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Erica Garcia. I am with OC Credit and Business Builders. We specialize in credit restoration, debt settlement, and small business consulting. Thank you, Philly, for inviting me.
Hello, everyone. My name is Julian. I'm with Vibe Marketing Agency, and we are a full-service creative agency that helps elevate businesses' online presence and brand positioning. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Fred Babai. My company name is B2B Sales Accelerator. We help leaders and their team to achieve a 10x market value within 5 years by leveraging operational and getting their team aligned with the technology. Thank you.
Hey, William Pote, eTop Technology. We're a managed service provider in the Inland Empire primarily. Vacation, we're going to Mexico for a week in August, so looking forward to that.
My name is Pedro with Empire Technologies Group. We are a low voltage integrator that focuses on network infrastructure and security solutions. We were invited by Feli. We're one of many I see on the group. I see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of friends, a lot of partners, and I'm glad to be back.
Hello, Jared with Broadbear. We're similar to Pedro. We do low voltage, but actually we also do Teams rooms, Zoom rooms. So we actually focus on commercial AV and high touch, kind of a boutique firm. Also the learning chair. So any topics or speakers that you would like to see present or be a presenter, that'd be great. Let me know.
Hi, I'm Darren Soma with Greystone Technology. We are a full service MSP. We also are a large Microsoft partner. I believe we have 8 solution partner designations with Microsoft. We do everything from fully managed, co-managed, partner managed, and unlike a lot of MSPs, we also do on demand still. We still do time and materials billed hourly, and we even do one-off project work for non-clients, which a lot of MSPs won't touch either.
Hello, everyone. My name is Reza Palizban, Aegis Innovators. We are a solutions designated partner with Microsoft on security and modern work, also invited by Feli. And for vacation, Feli's inviting us over to his house.
Thank you, Ashley, so much for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to come here and meet a few of you folks. I came, a couple of months ago, and then I'm really happy to be back this time. There's so many more people here. This is fantastic. So I'm with a company called Global Conductor, and what we do, we're an advisory company for IT solutions and finance solutions. We've done a ton of ERP work, SAP work. So if any of you all are excited or need a little bit of advisory about that, happy to do that. We're also an IT consulting firm as well, responsible for project delivery for a lot of clients out here. We helped Toyota with their move. Arco British Petroleum, which was 100 years ago, that was something I was heavily involved with. So I've been in the IT solutions arena for 20 plus years and really excited about the growth and opportunity, especially in the cyber world. He's our cyber consultant here. I wanted to also just quickly mention that if anyone is looking for a CISO or a CIO, I have a couple in my back pocket, and they're incredible people. CISOs with automotive background, healthcare, as well as your normal IT solution. So thank you all very much. Thank you, Ashley, again. I always have a great time here.
Feli, I thought I was special. This is Steve Copeland. Some of you may recognize me. I was with an MSP called NSIT, small little company called Spam Soap, and then Sickitch for all the BC people. I was their project person for a long time. I moved to a private equity firm, then came back with a whole company called Rhythms Network. I was invited, obviously, by Freely, I think by everybody else. Rhythms Network is a 5G unbondable SD-WAN solution that comes in a box and we bring the internet to you. So thanks for having me. It's been nice to be back. I think I've seen a couple familiar faces, even Fred. So here we go.
Hi, my name is Tarek Albatuk. I'm with WTB Solutions. We're a full managed services provider, and we provide infrastructure as a service, and we simplify things a little bit.
Hi, I'm David with Performance Consulting Solutions. I did not get your invite. I'm kind of disappointed. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Jared. A lot of people think I'm a vacation guy. Came back from Japan, got to see the cherry blossoms. So if you want to hear about that, I got stories. Anyways, we're a small MSP in Tustin. We focus on cyber security. If you want a cyber risk assessment for your business, let me know. I'll be happy to chat about that, because if you don't know what your risks are, how are you going to keep the bad guys out?
Ray Rahoman, out of Xerox Network Technologies, based in the LA area. Primarily focused on in the cybersecurity as well as the UCaaS and infrastructure areas with small businesses in the Southern California area. No real fun facts, but I'm heading up to Toronto, Canada for vacation this summer.
Hello, everybody. Ismael Valle. The company's One Stop Printing and Graphic Design Services. I was invited by Feli. Thank you. And I figured, hey, it's not a bad idea going to this meeting. I can meet all my third quarter future customers. So thank you for inviting me. Nice being here. Anybody else?
Okay, well, thank you very much. We got through this in good time.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ashok Patel with the Aegis Innovators, my fellow business partner back there. We specialize in implementing Zero Trust security for Microsoft infrastructure, and we also have a passwordless solution too, so thank you. I'm also the operations chair. I help organize the meetings.
Right, very good. Briefly, for 32 years, I ran an IT consulting company. In September, decided to close and create an exit. So the first time in 43 years, I am unemployed. So I'm kind of in transition with the other folks in the room that mentioned that. So in any case, past secretary, recovering treasurer, reluctant Marcom chair, and president for 1 year. I hope. With luck, Ashley will be able to take on presidency.
Does that 1 year start now?
Yep, it does, Fred.
All right, very good. All right, sorry. Okay, good. All righty, if you don't mind, there are a couple of questions in here that I really am trying to latch on to. So if you wouldn't mind, would you please spend a little bit of time filling out the survey? The two questions that I am particularly interested in are why, I guess for members who have joined, why did you join IAMCP? And then again, if you're a member, what would prompt you to renew? So those two questions are really important, and we're trying to get a handle on those 2 points of data to see if we can do some things to improve what the chapter is doing, and then to see if we can grow our membership. Maybe one comment about the value of membership. So part of the things that we kind of know and love about this group is networking. So this meeting is one that I'm very pleased, right, that we have this turnout, and Feli, I think credit goes to you for doing that. So thank you very much. The networking, probably number one. If remember the partnership slide that we showed earlier. So Aegis Innovators, for example, Greenlight Solutions, those are folks that we know and love well. The partnering process, I think, is really important. The second objective for the organization is to help partners develop strategic partnerships, and those might be a little bit different. Ro kind of mentioned referral, right? So that's kind of the first level. There's also a level where you might share services and present as one company. And then maybe a third level of partnering is to be able to formulate something, right? A productized service, as ICE mentioned to me earlier, that you can go to market with together. So that I think is the epitome of strategic partnership. Also, Ro Kolakowski has a strategic partner that has 100 salespeople. And if anybody in that sales team hears something about SharePoint, Ro gets a call. So that is a prime example of a strategic partnership. All right, so in any case, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and answer those two questions. We try to help either directly or indirectly members to grow the revenues and profits. So the Microsoft technology, I think, is interesting. Feli mentioned to me that I think we need a little bit of mindset, or I'll call it business acumen, for lack of a better term. In other words, how for us to be better salespeople or better founders and owners of companies. So that kind of thing also will filter into our learning, as Jared pointed out earlier. One of the things that I think the membership, and this is something that I didn't realize until recently, is that we as members of IAMCP are the value of IAMCP. So one of the things that it becomes obvious as time goes on is that as we talk to each other, we kind of realize that we all have different backgrounds, different expertises, different strengths and weaknesses. So from that perspective, I think it's kind of important. And Ice mentioned to me along the way here that she has a group of folks that she meets with regularly to sort of exchange this notion of, like I'll call it a peer group, essentially. Things that are going right, things that are not going right, how to go to market, what's working in lead generation, et cetera. So all those things kind of fall in that category of we as the value, as members are the value of IMCP. All right, very good. Now, survey. Okay, very good. So everybody okay with the survey? And again, really interested in those last two questions, right? What led you to join and what would prompt you to renew? Okay, very good. So this is where things kind of go off the rails. So is the next item the picture, Ashok? Oh, okay, very good. Okay, so Ashok is in command of what does Steve Tanner call it? The wheel of wow? All right, very good. Okay, so Ashok is going to take the responses from the survey, copy and paste into the wheel of wow. So we'll give him a minute to do that. And Ice Adams, who is our treasurer, she will arrange for a Starbucks gift card to be sent to you if you're the winner of the survey.
Here you go.
Wow. All right, Julia Walker. Okay, so if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and make contact with Ice Adams, give her email address and whatever, and we'll arrange for a Starbucks gift card to come your way. All right, terrific. Okay, this is a little bit of a challenge because we have quite a big group here, so if you don't mind, one of the things that we try to do in each meeting is to take a group picture. When the group was smaller, it was easier. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge, but what the heck, let's give it a try. And then I think anybody who is remote, if you are still here, go ahead and put yourselves on camera. And then we'll see if we can gather everybody here to take our picture. While that's going on, maybe everybody come up. What I'd like you to do is, if you're an officer or director, raise your hand. So Ashley, Vice President. Mario is a Director Membership Chair. Steve Tanner is our past president. Ice Adams is treasurer. Missing, I think Tushar Puri is traveling, so he's our secretary. And then Fred, Jared, learning chair. And then Fred Cooper, that you saw earlier, he's a director helping us with membership. All right, let's give it a try. And then after we take our picture, I will explain why I gave you the playing cards.
Yes. Everybody up.
Everybody rush.
Yeah, they're gonna be everyone, I think, and the rest of us are in here too. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Where you going, Brian?
Yeah, right, you're at. Like, oh, yeah. Dollar just got experience.
Like a panoramic.
Well, it'd be hard to put a road here.
Why don't you run?
I did one, so now I'm working on the 16 seconds. So fast, so on the wheelchair, right? Yeah. Just squeeze myself in the back. I don't know how people. Well, if
Over there, side.
put us a door, I think, yeah. Yeah.
That's the other way, guys. Picture the back of your head. Thank you.
Get some of those. I did not. Yeah, Brad, that part. There you go, Brian. Better than me.
Thank you, Mario.
Statesman of the.
Belly. Shelly. Thank you, Shelly.
All right. Thank you, Mario. June meeting of the Philly.
Transferred somehow.
Because I think many of them left. Oh, my hair.
Your case.
It's funny, that's why I like. I think on the side. Oh, yeah.
Ongoing. It's happening. There's some, there was some. So, it's going to matter.
Microsoft ran out of money, so we had to go get more money.
Tim, basically.
Sometimes.
All right, very good. So if I could have your attention for one minute. Okay, so I had given. So if you have a minute, I think we have one last thing to try.
Stand out as one of the best present. What, about 9 months ago?
All right, everybody have a playing card. So we could have your attention for one moment. Everybody have a playing card. Yes, maybe everyone. If you could kind of hold up your playing card for a moment to kind of make sure that we have most, and anybody who doesn't have a playing card, maybe let me know that too. All right. Okay, so the way, so we had done this for eons, and Rolf Lukowski, I think, is the master of this process. At SMB Tech Fest, we did a presentation. So Manish Bardia, Eddie Bader, Eric Klaus, and I were on stage at SMB Tech Fest, and we basically tried to simulate having a meeting between the meetings. So this is tradition, if you will. We meet, once a month, now once every 2 months, and much time goes by in between. And basically, the idea behind the meetings between the meetings is to schedule another contact point, but between now and the next meeting. So all the cards, I have a full deck of cards that I passed out, which is amazing. So everybody has, one card of 13. I think a couple folks have jokers. So if you have, for example, if you have an ace, would you raise your card? Ace. Okay, good. Okay, so the idea behind this, I think Ice Adams over there also has an ace. So basically, go and find other people who also have aces. And if you have a 2, right, go and find the other folks who also have a 2. Likewise, all the way through the deck of cards, all the way to the king. A couple folks have jokers. So if you have a joker, you may choose which group to go in, right? So kind of see how people congregate. And then you can choose what one to attend, right? The meetings between the meetings, I think, are special. And maybe if I could impose upon Ro for one moment, why are meetings between the meetings important?
You got to remember these monthly meetings are really just an excuse to get to initially meet people and then use the meetings between the meetings to actually really get to know them. And the meetings between the meetings, I rarely talk about work. I like talking about hobbies. I like talking about needs. Like I like going to bookstores, so I ask for recommendations and other people need stuff. And very interesting relationships develop out of that. And eventually what you do is you end up doing business with people you like, and people change jobs over time. So you end up creating really nice, deep relationships.